Hi everybody, I just found this leftover pipe from my previous exhaust build and now I'm sitting here contemplating actually making a new one. And I know, I pretty much just made this pipe, but there's just something about it that doesn't feel right. It doesn't fit the vibe. I think I'll make a new one. I just need to pick up some more pipe. You know what? I think I just figured out what it is that I don't like about my previous pipe. And I narrowed it down to 4 problems. But let's talk about those later. Right now we have another problem to solve. We need to make this little lip for the exhaust flange to hold onto. If you see my previous exhaust build, you might remember that I made 4 half moons that I welded together. And that actually worked out great. But this time I thought I would use this angle iron to make it in one piece. And to make it even more exciting, I thought I would bust out the old plasma cutter. We'll see how that goes. Well, as it turns out, I still don't know how to use a plasma cutter properly. And since it was freezing cold outside, I decided that learning how to use a plasma cutter is a task for another day. So I went back to my tried and tested half moons. In an effort to make this segment a bit more exciting, I pulled out the little bench grinder. But it did such an awful job that I actually went back to hand fights pretty quickly. The fit doesn't have to be perfect as long as it covers the exhaust port. The inner radius I do with a hacksaw, files and a die grinder. This might actually have taken me longer than just learning how the plasma cutter works, but with nice music blasting in my headphones, it was actually quite enjoyable. With the half moons ready, we can finally begin the fun part, building out the pipe. I will just tack this to the first bend and attach it to the engine and we'll go from there. This actually leads us to the first problem with my previous pipe. This bracket right here is blocking the flange from coming off. That's something I didn't realize until I wanted to put my stock pipe back on, but that's easy enough to fix. I know I said I was just going to tack weld it, but I just went ahead and did the finished weld straight away. I realized that it would be a pain to do once the whole pipe is assembled. From this point on, it's all about finding the right bends and their location, and then cutting and welding them together. It's hard getting an exact fit, but since I'm using a MIG welder, a gap of a few millimeters is okay. To fill the gap, I use a welding rod. This is actually the first time I tried this technique and it worked out great. Right now I will address the second problem with my previous pipe. It's just way too short. Short pipes can look really gnarly, but I think this bike deserves a long and tall pipe. So that's what it'll get. It might be hard to catch on camera, but I wasn't really happy with the angle of this piece. But this is the nice part with just tacking things together. It's easy to just bend it off and go again. Time to think about the mounting points. It'll be one in the engine and then one bracket here by the sissy bar. Well, it's time to do the last welds on the pipe. With the addition of the last piece, it has become a bit bulky and hard to handle around my garage. I'll grind the whole pipe all the way up to 280 grit. An orbital sander would have been great here, but I had to work with what I had. And now it's time for the finishing touch, the slash cut at the top. After hearing this pipe, I am very much considering taking the inset from my old pipe and putting it in this one, because this is loud, like really loud. And I know that this pipe ain't for everyone. Some are gonna love it and some are gonna hate it. But the important part is I love it. I really think it adds to the personality and the uniqueness of the bike. If you're looking for something else to watch, maybe check out this video right there. Thank you for watching and I'll see you later. Bye!